I'm about to make chicken wings, and I've got it pretty much in the last 10 years figured out perfectly. You don't need to deep fry. The worst thing you can do is deep fry wings and eat them every week because you're going to get fat and you're going to clog your arteries. So I like to bake them. So I've got a wire rack for baking, bunch of wings. I've also got a bag. If you take a shopping bag that has not been used and is still unopened, then it's hermetically clean, or however they say that. A clean bag for shake and bake. Then what I have is this, which is a powder that I made up of flour, cornstarch, and poultry seasoning, maybe some Old Bay in there. It's very good. It's got cayenne pepper in there, garlic powder, onion powder. You can make it yourself by picking your favorite mix spices and mix it all together. Or you could just do what I'm going to do right now, which is take flour, which I've already got some sifted right here, and I'm going to put a chicken rub in there and just use that. And this is Bubba's chicken rub. They're not paying me for that, but they should because I make the best wings. I also have some hot sauce. This is not a picante sauce from Yucatan. It's just the bottle. It says hot. This is suicide. I mixed this up a couple years ago and I've kept it in the fridge. And it's been fermenting in the fridge for a couple years. And it's suicide. It's too hot. This right here is all the crap you get from the store. Or when you buy a bag of supposedly hot wings and they give you a sauce packet. I mixed it all together, so I'm going to use this. And of course butter. For the air fryer, if I put it in the air fryer. There's the crappy old air fryer. But I'm going to cook these in the oven. That way I can cook all these wings at once. Otherwise, I'd have to do them in 2 or 3 batches in the air fryer, and that sucks. So to skip all the other cutting and all the other prep work, let's see if I can get this part on. So to cut the wings, you kind of cut down to the left this way. Then you do this one a little bit down and to the right. And my knife is starting to get dull, but I don't want to stop and sharpen it. It's pretty safe. So this one a little bit in the middle of the joint to the left. This one down the middle and maybe to the right. And you can slice right through these chicken wings pretty swiftly. And it's really not a big deal. And then if you don't get it right, then you cut those little half moon things off. And you got to spit those out. I hate those. But it came across pretty good, so they're all cut. So this is a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda and about a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. This is my hot chocolate because I've got a cold, and it's 1/2 cup of water, 1/2 cup of 2% milk, a package of Swiss Miss, I think, with marshmallows, 1/2 teaspoon of Sanka coffee, instant coffee, a dash of Irish cream, a dash of Kahlua. This is the tips being cooked in the air fryer so I can make broth out of them later. And these are the wings, and I tried this trick last time and it worked. So you kind of sprinkle the salt and baking soda on there, and the baking soda and the salt helps dry the skin out. So now I've got to mix it up, but I tried this and it kind of worked. What it does is it helps dry the skin out, and so you get crispier skin in an air fryer. And since it worked in the air fryer, I'm going to mix this up and try that in the oven and see if I get crispy skin in the oven a little bit. I always get crispy skin in the oven, but it doesn't last because as soon as you sauce them, they're not crispy anymore. So we're going to try it this way in the oven and see if they stay crispy a little longer in the sauce. So this is the tips after they've been air fried for about 10 minutes. Critical thing you got to do here is after these things have soaked in that baking soda and salt, you got to pat them dry. They need to be dry and that way they're going to get crisp. It's one of the mistakes I used to make, was just take them out, cut them up, rinse them off, which they say you're not supposed to rinse off your wings because you're just spreading the salmonella. So rinse them, don't rinse them. Don't take my advice on that. I'm just showing you how I do it. So I pat them all dry. Then I made the mix here. And now I just got to mix this up. That's 3/4 of a cup of flour sifted with a 1/4 cup of cornstarch and a 1/2 cup of that Bubba's chicken rub. So we're going to get these on the pan. Oven's preheating. And it'll take about 5 minutes for that to get hot. That's a perfect amount of time for me to get these breaded and on the pan and ready to go in. So if you have a sealed bag, you can blow it up and you can play shake and bake with these things. And when you open it up, they're breaded and ready to go. Oops, I forgot rule number 1. Make sure there's no hole in the bag because it's never been used. And when you pull it out and throw your flour in there and start shaking it up, you're going to get flour everywhere. So I had to clean that mess up and tie a hole in the corner of the bag because this is the only clean bag I have right now. So that might be a good clue. Anyway, I'm about ready to powder the rest of these up and get them in the oven. So now that these are in the oven, 360, 20 minutes is what the air fryer usually says. I usually cook them for 30, but I'll let it go for 20. We're going to try some of this. And 2 tablespoons of butter melted with 2 heaping teaspoons, maybe 3 heaping teaspoons of that. And how much guts do I got? Well, I'm not so scared that I won't put a little bit of suicide in there. Now you're going to take this and you're going to just mix this up and use the butter to tone it down, but the butter does add so much flavor to it. And I'm just going to, and that is actually, doesn't look like a lot of sauce, but you're just coating them. You're not painting them, you're just coating them. So I can turn that off now. And just let that sit there and simmer while the wings are cooking. And in about 15 minutes, we're eating wings. Well, after 15 minutes, they needed to be flipped because I've done them, cooked wings so many times that I can tell how much longer they need. So they're not quite there yet. Of course, it's only been 15 minutes, but it's also in a bigger oven where it's not concentrated like in an air fryer. So they're going to go in for 15 more minutes. Total cooking time should be a half hour. So I put it on broil for the last 3 minutes of that. 15-minute time on there. And this is what we got. We can leave that one in there because I just turned the oven off. We'll leave that one in there for a second while I do this. Get this pan heated up. A little bit of oil in there for no reason other than to throw these in there. I don't know if you can hear that. That has a little bit of a crispy skin on it. So the air fryer makes them a little bit crispier than the oven. But these are crispy enough because they're healthier than deep frying them. And of course they don't taste quite as good, but they taste just fine. They ain't going to hurt nobody. So now we're going to pour a little bit of sauce on there. Oh, I made a mess. And we just sit there, stir them up. It's hard to do this with one hand. I'm sure you won't mind if I do this. A little more sauce on there. Sorry about that. Here we go. Let's grab one. Too hot. Too hot to touch. That's why I put them in the hot pan, so they wouldn't lose heat. Let's try this one. Awesome. Not as crunchy as I'd like, but definitely delicious. So those are my hot wings that are cooked in the oven. I will post a picture in this video of the ones that came out of the air fryer. And I could leave them in there a little bit longer, but that's just going to dry them out. They're perfect right now. So these are my wings. Don't like, don't share, don't subscribe, don't care.